welcome to another episode in our series highlighting the power of transformative education at Springfield Research University. Tonight's focus is the Master of Law program and the impact-driven legal clinic, two arms of legal education that are not only shaping students but also reshaping the future of justice. With us is Ms. Clarance Gandawa, Executive Director, Legal Services. Ms. Gandawa, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, especially when we're talking about two pillars of legal excellency at SRU, the LLM and the Law Clinic.
Let's start with the Master of Laws. Why is the postgraduate legal education more relevant than ever before?
Thank you, Ayanda. Legal systems today are navigating extraordinary complexity, from digital transformation to shifting power dynamics, regional integration, and widening access to justice. The Master of Laws isn't just a degree, it's a declaration. It says you are ready to engage law not only as a tool, but as a force for transformation. This program is not for spectators, it's for leaders, for people who want to question the status quo, reshape public policy, develop jurisprudence, and confront injustice at its roots. The LLM gives you the theoretical depth, practical tools, and critical confidence to do that.
What the SRU Master of Laws program stand out?
Thank you, Ayanda, for that question. First, we are the only university in Eswatini offering an LLM and a PhD in law. That alone positions us at the forefront of legal education in the country. But beyond that, we are intentional. This is not some dusty recycled curricula. Our program is built to respond to regional and global legal developments while remaining firmly grounded in the African experience. Our students are exposed to global frameworks, yes, but they also interrogate colonial legacies, deconstruct imported doctrines, and contribute to lawmaking that makes sense for our people and our context. We don't just teach the law, we challenge it, critique it, and reconstruct it.
What kind of curriculum can students expect?
Thank you. Our curriculum is both rigorous and transformative. It is designed not to only deepen a student's legal knowledge, but to position them as a strategic thinker and a solution-oriented leader within their chosen field. We offer 4 specialized streams within the Master of Laws program: corporate and commercial law, criminal law, international law, and constitutional and administrative law, each carefully curated to meet regional and global demands. So let me take you through them. The corporate and commercial law stream is tailored for those seeking to lead in the private sector, financial institutions, trade bodies, or international business. It prepares students to navigate the complexities of business regulation, mergers and acquisitions, intellectual property law, international commercial arbitration, and corporate governance. Graduates from this stream are primed for roles such as legal advisors to corporations, compliance officers, commercial litigators, in-house counsel, or policy developers within economic clusters and regulatory bodies. The criminal law specialization is for those who want to work in law enforcement, criminal defense, prosecution services, international tribunals, or correctional reform. It includes modules on comparative criminal justice, forensic law, criminology, and cybercrime, empowering students to understand the psychology, science, and policy underpinning criminal justice systems. Whether you're aiming to become a senior prosecutor, reform advocate, or international criminal justice consultant, this stream offers the tools to analyze and respond to crime in all its evolving forms. Next, the international law stream. This specialization trains students to operate in transnational legal environments, whether through diplomacy, treaty negotiation, international human rights work, or trade and environmental law, with courses in international institutions, environmental law, human rights, and international trade. It equips students to work in the United Nations system, regional courts, NGOs, think tanks, and global policy institutes. This stream is ideal for those who want to be legal diplomats and cross-border advocates. Finally, the constitutional and administrative law stream is designed for those with a passion for governance, constitutional justice, and public accountability. Students explore advanced constitutional theory, administrative law, legal philosophy, and public sector governance. This stream prepares future judges, public law consultants, legislative drafters, ombuds officials, and legal advisors to government or parliament. It is ideal for those committed to transforming governance through law. Across all these streams, students are trained to think critically, write persuasively, research deeply, and lead boldly. The goal isn't just to produce experts. It's to produce legal professionals who are equipped to respond to the urgent legal, ethical, and institutional needs for our society. Whether one is drawn to the courtroom, the boardroom, or the international stage, this curriculum creates those pathways.
Who is the program designed for?
Thank you, Ayanda, for that question. It's for aspiring legal academics, policy analysts, judges, senior prosecutors, public servants, legal consultants, and future legal tech entrepreneurs. It's for the bold, those who want to write new chapters in African jurisprudence, not just cite the old ones. Whether full-time or part-time, this program is tailored to support working professionals, recent graduates, and anyone deeply committed to legal transformation.
What does research look like at the postgraduate level?
Thank you. Research at SRU is not academic theater. It's action-oriented. Our students produce dissertations that speak to real challenges, from AI and the future of criminal law to regional frameworks for refugee protection, land reform, gender justice, climate change litigation, and the constitutionalization of customary law. More than that, we train our students to engage in research-led learning, where they are not only absorbing knowledge, but creating it. They are encouraged to publish, present, and collaborate across borders. Research here is not the end product. It's the starting point for advocacy, policy, and reform.
And what about publishing and public scholarship?
Thank you, Ayanda, for that question. We are proud to say that SRU houses its own internationally recognized legal journals. Our students are not only encouraged, but supported to publish. We treat their research as intellectual activism. Many co-author with faculty, present at national symposia, or contribute to legal reviews. We believe that legal writing should not sit in shelves. It should shape conversations, judgments, and legislation.
Thank you, Advocate. Let's take a break and listen to a song called Izwi Lemteto.
Easy when near Springfield, lapho umthetho ubiza abafundi bavuka baphula odongeni ngokuthakazelela nangokuhlusiwe baphakama bakhumangisa ithiyori nokusebenza baphendula kubizelwa komthetho iSpringfield Law Clinic lapho amaphupho ethuthuka ukhuthaza abantu kukhanya kakhulu kusekele ekhulwini ukuya esitaladini silwa ngenhlonipho nenhlala kahle usuku nosuku ukufunda ngezandla ukwakha imiqondo yesikhathi esizayo ukuphatha uhlelo kungashiya imuntu emuva ngokuhamba kwesikhathi zonke izimangalo abathola bakhulisa ukuzethemba izithako ze-electronics zisenza sibemunye zizwa amandla zizwa umdlandla i-Springfield Law Clinic siphumelela dance for justice hearts ignite sihlangana sikhanye zinkanyezi i-Springfield Law simile phezulu ubulungiswa kubo bonke i-Springfield Law thola ukubizelwa ndawunonisutha emphakathini wethu senza isinqumo siza labo abaswele sinika isandla ngokuthola yonke impumelelo sikhula sakha ushintsho kulo mhlaba i-Springfield Law Clinic do amaphupho ethuka ukhuthaza abantu kukhanya kakhulu kuswele ekhulwini ubuye sengadini silwa ngenhlonipho nendlala kahle usuku nosuku sihlangene simunye futhi siqinile i-Springfield Law Clinic lapho siphila khona ngokuhamba kwesinyathelo umdanso nengoma silwa ngenhlonipho usuku lonke.
Welcome back, and let's continue with our discussion. Advocate, what are the assessments like?
Thank you. Assessments are designed to mimic the real world. Students draft legal opinions, policy briefs, litigation strategies, and advocacy memos. They engaged in simulated advisory sessions, oral defenses, and peer critiques. This is not about proving you read. It's about proving you understand, more importantly, that you can apply, evaluate, and persuade. Every assessment is a rehearsal for professional impact.
What role does professional development play in the LLM journey?
Thank you for that question, Ayanda. A central role. Our students attend law and leadership forums, digital law labs, legal technology workshops, and meet practitioners from the region and beyond. Career coaching, publishing support, research mentorship, and even conference preparation are part of the journey. By the time our students graduate, they are not just qualified. They are market ready, purpose-driven, and future-focused.
Tell us about the faculty guiding this journey.
Thank you. Our faculty are global thinkers with local insight. Many are published scholars, practicing lawyers, consultants to international organizations, and policy advisors. Their experience enriches the classroom, and their mentorship empowers students to rise.
What makes the SRU LLM graduate different?
Thank you for that question, Ayanda. Our graduates are more than legally literate. They are legally visionary. They are equipped to litigate, teach, reform, advise, and publish. They emerge with ethical clarity, research depth, critical boldness, and a commitment to justice. We are not producing technicians. We are building the legal intelligentsia of Africa, the ones who will rewrite laws, defend rights, and ask the hard questions no one will.
Thank you, Advocate. Let's take a break and listen to a song called Echoes of Justice.
Echoes of justice in the heart of Springfield, where justice calls, students rise, breaking down the walls with passion and purpose. and country soul. Electronic rhythms make us whole. Oh, feel the power, feel the drive. Springfield Law Clinic, we thrive. Dance for justice, hearts ignite. Together we shine in the spotlight. Springfield Law, we stand tall. Oh, justice for all. Oh, Springfield Law, hear the call. Oh, together we won't fall. In our community, we make a stand, helping those in need, lending a hand with every victory. We expand, creating change across this land. Springfield Law Clinic, where dreams take flight. Unpacking the people shining bright. From the courtroom to the streets, we fight for justice, for freedom, day and night. Together we stand, united and strong. Springfield Law Clinic, where we belong. With every step, every dance, every song, we fight for justice all day long.
Welcome back, and let's continue with our discussion.
Let's move into the second pillar, the SRU Law Clinic. What is its purpose?
Thank you. The SRU Law Clinic is a living, breathing extension of our commitment to justice. It was established not just as an academic component, but as an engine for community impact. The clinic ensures that legal education doesn't remain abstract or theoretical. It's applied, embodied, and experienced. Through the clinic, we provide legal services to marginalized communities while simultaneously instilling professional ethics, advocacy skills, and compassion in our students. It's where future lawyers learn the heartbeat of the law service.
Advocate, what kind of services does the clinic offer?
Thank you. The clinic provides a broad spectrum of services, including legal consultations, legal drafting, court preparation, and in some instances, supervised court appearances. We handle cases involving gender-based violence, unlawful evictions, land disputes, family law, employment issues, and immigration challenges. In addition to litigation support, we assist with dispute resolution and mediation, recognizing that not every legal problem needs to end up in court. Our work goes beyond advice. We intervene, we mediate, and we empower.
Can you tell us about the specific areas of expertise offered at Springfield Law Clinic and the primary focus of its research initiatives?
Thank you for that question, Ayanda. The Springfield Law Clinic, justice, insight, impact. So what exactly does the Springfield Law Clinic bring to the table? What are we experts in? Let me tell you, it's about more than just legal jargon. It's about real people, real problems, real solutions. Personal perjury. Imagine being falsely accused, your reputation shattered, your life turned upside down. At Springfield Law Clinic, we stand as a shield against such injustice. We are fierce advocates for those facing false accusations of personal perjury. We don't just take cases. We investigate them, meticulously uncovering the truth, building unshakable defenses, and fighting relentlessly to ensure justice prevails. We are their voice when they are silenced. Family law. It's deeply personal, isn't it? Divorce, child custody, adoption. These are life-altering events filled with emotion. We understand that. We approach these cases with sensitivity, offering not just legal expertise, but compassionate support. Our goal? To guide families through these turbulent waters, to find resolutions that prioritize the well-being of everyone involved, especially the children. Corporate law. Businesses, big or small, need solid legal footing. That's where we come in. Our corporate law services provide the guidance companies need to thrive. From corporate governance to mergers and acquisitions, from compliance to navigating complex regulations, we are there every step of the way. Think of us as your strategic legal partner, ensuring your business not only grows, but does so with integrity and full legal compliance. Real estate. It's often the biggest investment of your life. Whether you're buying, selling, or managing property, you need to be protected. We handle property transactions, zoning issues, landlord-tenant disputes, ensuring every detail is legally sound. We are your safeguard, ensuring your real estate dealings are smooth, secure, and in your best interest. Intellectual property. Your ideas, your innovations, your creative works. These are your most valuable assets, and we are passionate about protecting them. Through trademarks, patents, and copyrights, we help you safeguard your intellectual property. We don't just register them, we defend them against infringement. We empower you to leverage your creativity and innovation for your benefit, knowing your rights are fully protected. But our commitment to justice doesn't stop there. We are not just practitioners of the law, we are also students of the law. We are constantly seeking to understand it better, to improve it, to use it to create a more just world. That's where our research comes in. Research is the lifeblood of Springfield Law Clinic. It's the engine that drives our understanding, fuels our advocacy, and shapes the future of legal practice. Why is it crucial? Because it allows us to stay at the cutting edge, informed by the latest legal developments, precedents, and emerging challenges. It empowers us to advocate for meaningful policy changes and legal reforms. And perhaps most importantly, it provides invaluable educational opportunities for our students, honing their analytical skills and deepening their understanding of the law complexities. Legal research. It's the compass that guides us through the intricate maze of laws, regulations, and precedents. It's not just about finding the right answer. It's about asking the right questions. It's about unraveling complex cases and crafting compelling legal arguments. It's both a skill and an art form, and it's at the heart of everything we do. Policy research. But we don't just look at individual cases. We look at the big picture. Our policy research delves into the broader legal and social issues that shape our society. We contribute to vital policy discussions, seeking evidence-based solutions to create a more just and equitable world for all. Empirical research. We don't just theorize, we investigate. Our empirical research involves collecting real-world data, surveys, interviews, to assess the real impact of legal interventions. It's about understanding what works, what doesn't, and how can we do better. It's about bridging the gap between theory and practice, enriching both legal education and the broader legal landscape. Comparative research. And finally, we look beyond our borders. Our comparative research examines legal systems in other countries, seeking insights and best practices that can inform our local practice. It's about understanding the diverse approaches to justice around the world and using that knowledge to improve our own system. At the Springfield Law Clinic, we're not just lawyers. We are advocates, educators, and researchers. We are committed to justice, driven by insight, and dedicated to making a real impact on the lives of our clients and the world around us. We are the Springfield Law Clinic, and we're here to serve.
What sets it apart from traditional pro bono work?
Thank you. Traditional pro bono work often happens in silos and as add-ons. Our law clinic is integrated into the legal education process. It's deliberate, structured, and supervised. It doesn't just benefit the client, it trains the student. The clinic runs on a dual mandate: deliver access to justice and cultivate excellent legal practitioners. Students aren't just volunteering, they are being molded into capable, ethical professionals who understand the weight and privilege of representing others.
Do LMM students play a role in the clinic?
Thank you, Ayanda. Absolutely. LLM students occupy a leadership role in the clinic. They don't just participate, they mentor, guide, and supervise undergraduates. They take on more complex cases, lead strategic legal research, and help refine the clinic's approach to litigation, education, and outreach. In many ways, they act as a bridge between academic theory and real-life practice. They are expected to model professionalism, support the legal team, and innovate solutions. It's a space where their experience and insight make a tangible impact.
What kinds of legal documents do students help produce?
Thank you, Ayanda. Our students assist in drafting a wide range of legal instruments, pleadings, affidavits, contracts, legal opinions, letters of demand, protection orders, and constitutional submissions. We emphasize precision, clarity, and ethical advocacy. The ability to draft with accuracy and empathy is one of the clinic's core training pillars. Students quickly realize that writing isn't just technical, it's strategic. Every word carries consequences. So for our viewers, for you to be able to follow, we have picked two cases, the Luigi Mangione case, and these are American cases. The Luigi Mangione case is happening in New York, and it's ongoing. The trial hasn't started yet. So we have gathered all the filings that they have done, all the affidavits, and all the evidence that they are saying will be there. So that's what we are going to be using for our discussion. And with the Gene Hackman case, it might not be a criminal case, it might not even maybe go to court, but we have seen that there are things that we can question, that we can talk about, if it's elder care, survivorship, wills, and things like that, because they are happening in that case. So we are also going to be discussing the Gene Hackman case based off of that. So these are American cases that we are going to be trying to decipher and discuss. So guys, we have two cases that we are discussing today, the Luigi Mangione case and the Gene Hackman. So Monia, what are the facts of the Luigi Mangione case?
So the State versus Luigi Mangione is a very interesting case, not only because of its social implications, but also because of the structure of the case itself. Now, with the state of facts, or the facts of this case, essentially, Mr. Mangione was surveilling, and basically he was surveilling Brian Thompson, who was the CEO of a healthcare organization which we will refer to as Company One. Mm-hmm. Now, this CEO of healthcare Company One essentially had a meeting. Was it a meeting? Yes,
it was a meeting.
Yes, it was a meeting which he had with several investors. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Mangione, between the 24th of November and the 4th of December, was essentially surveilling Mr. Thompson to see his whereabouts, and he made use of different tactics in order to do so. Mm-hmm. And then on the 4th of December, he then followed through and shot Mr. Thompson and killed him. From there, he then fled the scene using Central Park, where he had parked an electric bicycle on the other side. Mm-hmm. He then took the bicycle and then left that vicinity. He then took a taxi cab, which then placed him at the place where he was residing, which was a hostel within the Manhattan area. So once he arrived there, he spent a few hours there and then fled to Pennsylvania.
Okay. So you are defending Mr. Louis in this scenario?
Not quite. I'm actually against.
You are for the state?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So what's your argument?
My argument is that this is a very heinous crime. It goes against all sorts of morality, and I believe that we should actually pursue the death penalty in this case, because we can't simply let people go around murdering innocent people without any sort of cause. I mean, there is no cause to murder a person, but I believe we need to take this matter very seriously, and the death penalty is the way to do it.
Wednesday, you are defending Mr. Manje.
Yes.
And what's your argument on this part?
I believe that everyone has fundamental rights. So the state is there to safeguard those rights that are not, so that they are not violated. So my question is, how come the state issue this death sentence instead of protecting the right to life?
Okay. The Constitution says the right to life.
Yes.
Does it mention anything about the death penalty?
Yes, it does.
And what does it say?
Essentially, the death penalty is not necessary. It is something, or rather I would say it is a framework that is used only in very, very specific cases, and in cases where a heinous crime has been committed, and I believe this is one of those cases.
So it shall not be mandatory?
Yes, it shall not be mandatory.
But it can be there?
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like you can't issue a death sentence because Louis is not proven. Okay.
The trial hasn't happened.
Yeah, okay. Considering the death sentence, I feel like it's unfair because I believe that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Yes.
What motive did he have to go kill Brian Thompson?
I believe his motive, supported by his letter, which was addressed to the feds, where he talked about, I believe it was general social engineering, which makes us believe that he is under the impression that healthcare as a whole is essentially a cancer in the American society, and that these CEOs and individuals who are in the upper echelons of the healthcare industry are basically parasites that are feeding off of society, feeding off of those who are most vulnerable, those who can't afford healthcare and are essentially forced into debt because they need healthcare.
Okay. I believe that Louis had no motives in committing that crime because, okay, with that letter, everyone has a right to express his or herself. So he was writing that letter just to express himself, not like he wanted to commit any crime. Yes.
I disagree. I heavily disagree. I feel as though what he wrote in the letter, specifically how he, in fact, not even the letter, if we decide to look at all of the evidence in question, there is also a notebook where he had written various accounts of movements of the CEO, various interests that he had in different medical companies and things like that. So I believe he definitely committed the crime intentionally. He did have managed to commit the crime, and he may very well have actually committed even more crimes. He may have actually killed even more healthcare professionals had we not caught him in time.
You mentioned evidence.
Yes.
What evidence is there?
The evidence that is against Mr. Mangione, for one, is the false ID which he had on him. It was a New Jersey issued ID, however it was fake. It used a different alias. That's one of the pieces of evidence that we had. There was also a 9mm pistol that was recovered from Mr. Mangione's possession when he was arrested, along with 2 magazine clips, which are actually illegal in the state of New York because he had, I believe both of those magazines have a higher capacity than what is allowed under New York City regulations.
Ask something.
Yes.
With the fake IDs, that is a common thing nowadays. For example, if you are playing soccer, you can have a lot of IDs, just you are faking your age. So what if here is that these things applying here?
I don't believe it would apply because he used this ID on 2 separate occasions. He used this ID when he was leaving New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, because he came from Atlanta to New York in order to perpetrate the crime. So he used that ID to purchase the bus ticket, which shows that he intended to go to New York. But if we put aside the reasons why he left to go to New York, there is also the fact that he used this ID to then evade the police by going to this hostel where he then produced this fake ID.
But having these fake IDs doesn't mean he committed the crime.
True, however, his possession of the the weapon that was used in the crime, that leads us to believe.
And what if the weapon was not his?
If it was not his, then he should come forth and assist us in figuring out who this weapon belongs to.
Right now it's an ongoing case. Yes. So we are not sure whether it was his firearm or not. Yes. So with the firearm and the fake ID, I feel like he was not the one who committed the crime.
What about the journal entries which showed how he was stalking the healthcare CEO, as well as the letter which he wrote entitled "To the Feds"?
All of that, it doesn't mean that with all of the accusations, doesn't mean you can commit a crime. No.
How have we proved that it was him who was actually writing in the notebook?
So far we haven't yet proven that, but once we begin the trial, our hopes are to essentially find possibly public records of examinations or tests that he may have written, possibly in university or in high school, and then we will have analysts essentially look at both pieces of text and see whether or not he was the one that wrote both the entries in the journal as well as the letter to the feds.
So, according to the distance of where all these things happened, you are convinced that he actually did it? Could he have gone from one place to the next? There are people who have investigated, they have gone through that route, and then they say it's not possible.
Yes, and in the crime scene, I think they found 3 things that were written there, which we believe that it was written by the insurance company in order to prevent them from paying any claims. So what if it was the one that committed the crime?
That may be the case, however, the evidence does not support that. The evidence, which I believe is very, very damning, the possession that he had of the pistol as well as the fake ID, I feel like that's too much evidence. Also, the obvious evidence which is in the notebook, while we haven't quite established whether or not that is admissible, but the evidence where he simply spoke about committing the crime, where he referenced whacking the healthcare CEO, and then a few days later he actually then whacks the healthcare CEO, I feel as though it's not circumstantial. It can't be a coincidence that he simply writes something in his journal and then a few days later exactly what he writes is what happens.
But you
now
haven't
I'm
checked.
not sure that he was the one who
You
wrote
haven't
them.
even done like his handwriting to see if it matches, because you're saying you didn't check all that, right? We don't have that confirmation to say it happened, it's actually him.
Who wrote the letter.
That although that is true, we also have the evidence of the actual footage of the shooting as well as the footage we have of him in the hostel lobby. Now, if you look at both those clips, you can actually see that the shooter is wearing the exact same outfit and has the exact same backpack as Mr. Mangione when he is seen at the hostel.
But I can have the same outfit. That doesn't mean Mr. Lujan committed the crime.
Can we see his face visibly in both clips?
We can only see his face visibly in the clip from the hotel, the hostel party.
So you can't prove beyond reasonable doubt
No,
that.
we also have footage that was taken from the taxi cab which he took from just down Central Park to the hostel. And in that same clip, we can see that he's wearing the exact same outfit as the shooter.
I feel like we can't rely on something that is an CCTV.
And why is that?
It's not accurate.
How so?
Like I said, maybe the shooter was wearing the same clothes that Louis was wearing.
Mm.
Yes.
So are you saying that Mr. Mangione was colluding with the shooter, or what is your argument?
I'm saying that my argument is that maybe the one who committed the crime is not Louis. Yes.
So you feel as though we should lower the charges to only him actually aiding and abetting someone who then committed all of these crimes?
Yes.
So essentially you're saying Mr. Mangione is not innocent,
He is innocent.
but you just said that he may very well have actually assisted the murderer, the shooter.
No. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we can't rely on something that is in CCTV. It is not accurate.
While it can be tampered, I believe that's something that we would then have to argue about once we actually begin the trial. Yes. I also believe that we will actually be able to prove that it was Mr. Mangione who was indeed the shooter, not only because of the clothing that they were both wearing, himself and the shooter, and the consistency between those outfits, but also the images that we see of him while he's in the hostel. You can clearly see that this is Mr. Mangione.
Okay, let me say Mr. Louis committed the crime, but it's lacking serious.
How is it lacking mental? Because
Louis had a mental illness history. Maybe when he was committing the crime, he was not thinking straight. Yes.
So now there's mental issues involved.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I suppose that's something we can't yet prove, but I would request that once we start this trial, you have an expert witness, possibly
What
a
evidence do
psychologist.
you have to prove that he was mentally ill?
Yes.
What's the history of the mental illness?
He had that mental illness back when he was doing, I don't know whether he's first year in university.
Okay.
Yes, but the mental illness is there.
Okay.
Yes.
Did he ever seek out medical help for
Yes.
this? What happened after this?
That's why it published that he has that mental illness history.
Okay, I see. Okay. I think those are the only questions that I would have.
Anything else that you want to say?
Okay. Maybe they are framing Louis. As you say he wrote that letter. What if someone was framing him? He's not the one who committed the crime.
If he was framed, then I believe you will be able to prove that in court. But my personal opinion is that you won't, because he was indeed the one who committed this crime.
Okay. And I believe that Louis didn't commit the crime because he is not proven beyond reasonable doubt.
That he is the one who committed.
Yes.
The evidence is circumstantial. You think so?
I don't think it's circumstantial,
You don't
but
think so?
no. But I did have a question. You were alleging that the district attorney's office was infringing on your client's constitutional right to a fair trial by making statements about how we need to essentially fight for a death penalty for Mr. Mangione, not only because it's a very, shall I say, it's a case, or rather it's something that goes against what's happening in our society. It's something that is a very big problem right now. And of course, the district attorney had stated that us fighting for the death penalty does align with President Trump's policies for making America safe again.
I feel like the death sentence somehow will influence violence. It influences violence in America because everyone believes to this death sentence. Things like killing someone is not a problem, you see.
Okay. But I still disagree that it is an infringement on his constitutional right, because you cited that it was it Public Rule 23.1? Yes, Public Rule 23.1 states that you, as a legal professional, must not actually then make public statements which may hinder someone else's access to a fair trial. However, the district attorney's statements weren't made to disparage your client, but only to inform the public about the state of affairs of this case, as well as what the Justice Department is doing in order to prevent any further acts of terrorism and violence within the country. Do you still feel as though it's unconstitutional for us to...
Yes, I'm still standing on that ground.
You're standing on business?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, it's fine. We've had, since it's an ongoing trial, we'll want to see how things will pan out when the trial does start and it ends. But just to bring it into the Eswatini context, what do we say, what does the Constitution say about the death penalty?
It is there, but it shall not be issued.
It shall not be mandated.
That's what it says.
This is what it says.
Chapter 3, section?
Section 15.
Section 15. Okay, so you're saying it's there, but it shall not be mandatory.
Yes.
That's what it says.
That's right.
I see. So just to ask some questions, does the identity or status of the victim justify a harsher sentence?
I don't think so. Though there are some within law enforcement who might argue otherwise, but I feel as though someone's stature within society should not now change the outcome of a case.
Can you repeat the question?
Does the identity or status of the victim justify a harsher sentence?
No.
No.
Yes.
Okay. You guys said he was not mentally sound,
Yes.
so that can change the way things go.
Yes.
In what way?
Or if indeed he actually had some sort of mental condition, then that might have been what caused him to act in such a manner. It's not how he would normally act. But that's a bit hard to prove considering all of the evidence, specifically what he wrote within his journal about how he had been planning this for months. Now he had actually been stalking this healthcare professional.
The problem is that I'm not sure that he was the one who wrote that.
Okay.
Can a fair trial occur in high-profile media cases like this?
Yes.
I believe it can,
Yes.
but it's very hard to do. One of the arguments that was brought up was that a jury trial would be hard to do. We would need to then either sequester the jury or to basically screen the jurors in order to ensure that they didn't have any sort of exposure to the statements made by the Attorney General. But outside of that, I'm not so sure what else one can do to really prevent the case from being tainted by, public opinion and things like that.
Can impartiality be guaranteed in this case?
It cannot be fully guaranteed, but to a certain degree, if the right safeguards are put in place.
So the death penalty is irreversible, right?
Yes.
And that's what you are fighting for.
Yes.
Is it worth the risk of mistake?
I believe it's definitely worth the risk of mistake, because this is a very high-profile case, of course, and for us to simply allow such a case to happen without really pursuing the full force of the law would not do justice not only to the victim and their family, but to society as a whole. We need to set an example, and a very stern example at that.
I will go back to the fundamental rights. It violates someone's fundamental rights, the right to life.
And the Constitution, you're saying it will be there because it's in the same
So the same chapter.
chapter, right? You're saying yes, there is right to life, but the
Yes.
death penalty shall not be mandatory, which means you're saying it might be there. So how do we work that?
Yes, it might be there, but the duty of the state is to protect that right.
So what does justice look like for the victim's family or for the society in this?
I feel like there are other punishments except the death sentence.
I believe that an eye for an eye is something that we should still consider. It is very much...
As lawyers,
Yes.
We don't promote that.
we don't promote it.
We don't, however, if that is the case, then why does the death penalty exist? It's a very good question to ask, because if we don't believe in an eye for an eye, then why would we then put something like this within
So why do we have a fundamental right?
But I believe fundamental rights are simply there to protect the rights of every person. However, if one person has the will and the gall to now infringe on another person's right to life, we can't put this person back into society. We cannot allow this person to be free and simply roam the streets after having assassinated someone.
No, we're not saying they'll be roaming the streets. You can still send him to jail,
Yes.
but you're not.
But my question
Is
then
it not
becomes,
just as effective?
just as effective in what context?
You're just sending him to jail, you're not killing him.
I feel as though it would be fair. However, the victim's family would not see it that way. They are the reason why we have chosen to pursue a
Death penalty.
death penalty, yes.
This was interesting.
Very much so.
Let's see how it unfolds,
Mhm.
and then we can see where we were right, where we're wrong, right?
Of course.
Let's take a commercial break and stay tuned.
Do you want to be a leader, industrialist, manufacturer, entrepreneur, or expert in your field? Join Springfield Research University, the university of next-generation innovators and inventors. Admissions for August-September 2025 are now open. At SRU, we systematize, industrialize, and modernize, SIM. Choose an industry-relevant undergraduate, master's, or doctoral program and be the future. Apply today at www.springfieldresearch.university or WhatsApp +0268 7619 2898. Springfield Research University, where innovators learn.
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. What's the clinic's role in law reform?
Thank you for that question, Ayan. The clinic is steadily positioning itself as a contributor to legal development in Eswatini. While we are still in our early stages, we have built a strong foundation for engaging in research that supports policy dialogue and legal reform. Our vision is to see student-led research clinic-based insights influencing legislative conversations, public interest discourse, and systematic transformation in the near future. We are laying the groundwork not only to serve communities today, but to inform justice tomorrow.
Is the clinic involved in public education or outreach?
Thank you. Yes, and proudly so. The clinic runs Know Your Rights campaigns, legal literacy workshops, and school-based programs on human rights, consent, cyberbullying, and civic participation. We also train community paralegals and collaborate with civil society to demystify the law. Our aim is to decentralize legal knowledge, to make it accessible, relatable, and transformative. Justice begins with awareness, and that's a message we carry into every community we reach.
Are there examples of impact?
Thank you. While we are still early in our journey, the SRU Law Clinic is laying the foundation for meaningful impact. Our systems, partnerships, and student training models are in place, and we are excited to begin taking on real cases and community-driven legal projects. The vision is clear: to make access to justice a lived reality, and to ensure that every student who walks through the clinic lives with not just skills, but a sense of mission. In time, we look forward to sharing the kinds of transformative outcomes we are working toward today.
Does the clinic promote alternative dispute resolution?
Thank you for that question, Ayanda. Yes, actively. We recognize that court is not always the most appropriate or accessible space for everyone. The clinic facilitates mediation, restorative justice sessions, and community dispute resolution. Our students are trained in listening, de-escalation, and culturally sensitive resolution strategies. Sometimes the best outcomes isn't a win in court. It's restored relationships, mutual understanding, or safe reintegration. That's what justice can look like too.
Who does the clinic partner with?
Thank you. We are actively working to build strong strategic partnerships with law firms, the judiciary, government departments, civil society organizations, and human rights commissions. These relationships will allow us to provide richer legal experiences for our students, while also creating channels for meaningful community impact. Our goal is to open doors for mentorship, internships, policy collaboration, and joint community initiatives. We believe law must be practiced in community, and that principle guides every partnership we pursue.
What's the future vision for the clinic?
Thank you, Ayanda. We envision the SRU Law Clinic becoming a leading national and regional hub for community legal innovation. In the next few years, we aim to expand our reach into more rural communities, publish impactful legal research, and collaborate internationally with other university law clinics. We want to develop a digital legal portal, create toolkits for paralegals, and formalize our work into sustainable policy recommendations. The clinic is growing, but always rooted in our founding purpose: service, access, and transformation.
Final thoughts as we wrap up?
Thank you. The Master of Laws and the Law Clinic at SRU are not academic boxes to tick. They are spaces of transformation. If you want to memorize, there are many options for you. If you want to lead, learn, reform, and disrupt, this is your place. This is your time. We are not waiting for the future of law. We are creating it. At Springfield Research University, we evolve the law, elevate the learner, and expand what's possible.
Thank you once again, Advocate Gandawa. And to our viewers, if you are ready to take your legal career to the next level and make a real impact, visit our website or contact our admissions team. Well, that's all for today's episode of Springfield Career Insights. We hope you found inspiration and more valuable information to help guide your career journey. I am Anda Sitole, your host. Stay curious, Stay inspired. Until next time, shine on and be safe.
Belana, ngemjululo muhle sonke similela. Lines while seamlessly incorporating English for a multilingual tapestry. Genjabulo sihlomela impilo leyinhle lena. Hey hey, siyakhuphuka, siyakhuphuka, tikiti lethu Tanza lungakhiwa. Hey hey, similela. Hey hey, siyakhuphuka, siyakhuphuka, tikiti lethu Tanza lungakhiwa. Hey hey hey, siyakhuphuka, sonke siyavumelana, ngemjululo muhle sonke similela.